Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to GrizzlyBear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Lone Star. Just finishing up our raking here of our grass field up here in the sort of the south end of the map here, and just taking advantage of this beautiful late spring day here. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and we're in the same game day that we were in the previous episode number 8. And today in the real world, today is actually Monday, the 8th of May. This is otherwise known as Big Bud Day. And but would you believe it? Big Bud is not available yet for me. I do purchase my games if I can, and purchase my DLC through Steam. Now I know that there's a couple of different schools of thought on that, and some folks steer clear of Steam for the simple fact that Steam seems to always get the updates and everything sort of after the fact. And I know a lot of people already have their Big Bud tractors and all their Big Bud DLC equipment and everything because they purchased directly from Giants. Well, I didn't do that. Like I said, I've always purchased my DLC through Steam, and I will say that for the most part, when I purchased Farm Sim 17 through Steam, obviously several months ago, that came out and that was available for me to download on the Monday before the Tuesday release date. It was available after, about 5 o'clock p.m., which was already the next business day in Europe. And so let's see, we're gonna jump out here, and I have added a few mods to the setup here. First one is the manual attach mod. So get used to me using this particular mod as I try to be a little more realistic with it. I had tried it early on and had a few problems with it. I don't know if it was just the early version of it or what the case might have been, but in any event, everything seems to be working just fine right now. Now, we are going to continue with sort of our theme of grass work here. If I can locate, where is our other case? Oh, our other case tractor is over here where we had parked it after we had the boys pick up some of the wool from the sheep. Those guys are still busy, busy, busy beavers at shearing sheep and such. So we will disconnect here, and we'll get in our case tractor here and get this guy here fired up. Now, I'm also using the more realistic mod. Now, I am still trying to get to kind of get my head wrapped around the more realistic mod and everything that it's capable of doing and providing for us here on our maps. Basically, the way that I understand the more realistic mod is it works by giving your equipment, your tractors and everything else, a little more realistic operational um, characteristics. Okay, so and I don't know why. I mean, you would think that maybe Giants building a game that is referred to as Farming Simulator. I'll see if I can. Can I see our point out there? That might have been it. That might have been just a little bit too far. Bear with me as I kind of get used to using the manual attach mod. I haven't really used it in earnest since, since, let's see, Q to connect and then Z to connect the PTO shaft. I haven't really used it much since Farm Sim 15. Like I said, I did try it here on 17, and I had some problems with it, but it might have been something else. But anyway, I decided to give it a go again because obviously it's in the mod hub and seems to work fine. But I'm not sure why Giants wouldn't just go ahead and um, characterize some of this equipment a little more realistic like than what they do, but they just don't. And so that is sort of the way that it goes. And I'm going to pause right here for just a second, and I'm going to go and take that SP, the sprayer 400. I'm going to kill that process so that green icon isn't continuing to flash down there. So stand by just one moment. All right back with you now. Got ahead and got that out of the way, and also took our screenshot for our thumbnail. So anyway, the more realistic mod, it changes the characteristics of the equipment to give them a little bit more realistic power based on, the real world counterparts of this equipment. And I sort of struggle with some of these games that call themselves simulator, uses the word simulator in the game, if they're not taking into consideration some of these important things, like, for example, real world stuff. I gotta say, and I'll talk a little bit here about flight sim, especially like PMDG. For those of you who are flight simmers, you know what I'm talking about. You know that PMDG is probably one of the best at making sure that everything that they put into their products, whether it be the 737, the 777, their brand new 747 that came out some time ago. I don't even own it yet. I have been sort of that far out of touch with flight simulation that, I've had my head in farming for the last couple of months, and I haven't really paid much attention to it. But in any event, they do try very hard to make sure that everything is based on real world stuff, and Giants just, I guess, doesn't seem to do it. Either that, or they just don't want to make it so difficult for folks that may not want the ultra realistic stuff. But anyway, I did install the more realistic mod, and I am going to use it here on Lone Star, and will also use it on Lawfolds as well. Now, you know that I was using a customized version of the ground response mod. I've basically removed the customization of that, and I went ahead and took just the Giants default version of that. And also I went ahead and dropped the the fill type mass adjustment mod, which basically worked to try to give a little bit more weight to your tipper trailers and stuff like that, because I really believe, from what I've read about the more realistic mod, is that would be a redundant mod to have. And so I don't want to have any conflicts, I don't want to have any issues with things, so I figured let me dump the redundant stuff, and let me just go with this mod and see how it behaves, see how it functions, see if it's going to be something that is going to work for me. I don't, I like the more realistic aspect of what anything, whether it be a mod or just a straight out functionality of the game itself. I love what these things will do for us, but at the same time, I don't want there to be problems. I don't want there to be mod conflicts or any kind of problem with the seasons mod and things like that. Now, to my knowledge, and unless I'm just sort of not understanding things a little bit, but to my knowledge, the more realistic mod doesn't really do anything with your crop growth and kind of stuff like that. So I don't think that we'll have a problem with the seasons mod. And as a matter of fact, I do know that the seasons mod people, oops, wrong button. I do know that the seasons mod people, my Trek IR is flaking out here just a little bit, so may have to do more work out of the cab. But anyway, I do know that the seasons mod people are basically aware of the more realistic mod, and they have actually even encouraged, I saw some comments, and you can learn more about the more realistic mod. If you want to get the mod itself, go to my spreadsheet, my mod spreadsheet, GrizzlyBearSims.com, and it's in the utilities section towards the top of the spreadsheet. And anyway, that'll take you to an FSU IPC. I'm thinking flight sim here. That'll take you to a FSUK forum topic, where you can read through it if you want to and get all the information regarding that. But you will see, or you might see, a conversation between the one of the developers of the Seasons mod basically asking or talking to the developer of the more realistic mod and basically letting him know to go check out the Seasons mod, inviting him to do so. So again, I don't think that there's going to be any problems with that. I really think that what the more realistic mod does, and I know that Mike Reefy1952 has been using it as we sort of get off line there. Let me go back and get that, because we need all the hay that we can get off this field, and I just need to pay a little bit more attention, I suppose. But in any event, Mike Reefy1952 has been using this mod. He actually used it, I believe, back in the FS13 days. He's been talking about it, and I think he was the one that brought it to most of our attention over at PCSG, as well as the Three Dudes Gaming Network, and so I'm very appreciative to him for bringing that to our attention. But you know, I think it provides a little more like I said, realistic nature to the equipment. From what I understand, and again, I was not a FS13 user or customer. I got into the whole farm sim stuff with farm sim 15, and the more realistic mod never came out for 15. But from what I understand, through reading through most of this this topic on FSUK, is that it works with all of the default equipment. Modded equipment, it may or it may not work, and there are some I guess there's some changes that you can make to the XML files or something within some of the modded equipment, and so that's kind of why I opted to use the large case here instead of using my go-to tractor, kind of my favorite tractor, that yellow Challenger, just simply because I'm not 100% sure that it's working. It doesn't hamper the ability for the Challenger to function. I'm not really sure if it's working with it as it should, and so since I'm sort of debuting this mod, if you will, here in this video, I did want it to kind of work as best as possible. So it does kind of change some of the sounds of the tractor, and you know, we're moving at baling. I don't know if I don't know without the mod if we could actually go 18 miles an hour and still bail or not. So I guess it's working to that respect. Of course, I should also probably adjust my speed maybe a little bit. Now, from what I understand, and I will, let me dial my speed down just a little bit. From what I understand, this kind of has a built-in gearbox mod to it. I did download the gearbox mod because I was going to try that as well. I sort of figured, okay, well, if I'm going to do manual attaching, and if I'm going to try this more realistic mod, let me go ahead and try the manual gearbox or the gearbox mod. But I had some problems whenever I enabled it. I first enabled the more realistic mod, and I enabled the manual attaching mod, and I didn't have any problems with either of those. And so I went ahead and then enabled the gearbox mod, and I had an issue where it sort of locked my game up. So, but I think that I may have downloaded, I'm pretty sure I downloaded the gearbox mod from the mod hub, and I probably need to get that from the GitHub website, because I think that has been updated to function with the more realistic mod. But again, unless I misunderstood Mike, I chatted with him through the PCSG website today. He sort of led me to believe that the more realistic mod kind of has a gearbox function. I don't know if you can manually change the gears, which I'm not necessarily that bothered with right now. But I believe that he led me to believe that it sort of has that functionality. So we will kind of just have to see. So making good progress with our hay bales here. I meant to, I had it sort of on my to-do list today to go out and look to see if there was an update to the bell counter mod. I've seen on Disco's channel, I watch some of Disco's videos when I have time, and I noticed that his bell counter that he was using displayed the bell count up in the upper right hand corner just below the time and the seasons and that sort of that HUD. It displayed it there. So I don't know if he changed something. He's a pretty smart guy when it comes to being able to mod mods and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if he changed something or if the mod developer released an update for it. So I'll have to leave that on my to-do list and make sure that I check that out and try to figure out what is going on with that, because I did like the bell counter. Yeah, going downhill this thing, I mean not even touching the accelerator pedal. I still have it on cruise control, and it picked up like 18 miles an hour there without any problem. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if it would have done that without the more realistic mod, but I suppose that is, that is more realistic. I mean, I suppose if you're going downhill and you're not fighting the speed itself, you're not trying to govern that speed back, I suppose that's exactly what would happen. I don't know if the baler would actually still continue to keep up and pick up the grass or the hay as nice as it's doing here, but I do like this. I think I like this mod. Plus, I also believe that the dynamics of the tractor, the way that the tractor bounces around a little bit more, I believe that's also part of the more realistic mod. And again, that's kind of why I went back to the default ground response mod from Giants, because I know that the more realistic mod does work with that mod. And so I just wanted to make sure that I did not have any problems or would run into any issues with any mod conflicts and things like that. And so that is what I've done. So again, it is Monday. It's I suppose that officially it's the eve before the Big Bud release. Of course, in the past, like I've said, the Big Bud has always come out on, it's always been Tuesday is sort of, I guess, the Giants' date to release things. And so as a result of that, we'll try not to bother our campers there. Of course, it is late spring. Things will pick up in the campground, and by the way, we do own that, so we'll probably try to factor in some storylines and stuff to kind of go along with that. I figure we'll take advantage of that little campground there. But anyway, I sort of lost my train of thought, I think, but I'm not really sure what I was saying before the campground situation. But I don't know. I've completely absolutely lost it. That's part of getting old, and how that your mind can really only manage kind of one thought at a time, and if it does this kind of this hot swap thing where when you get a new thought in your head, it'll kind of keep the remnants of that old thought for a few seconds, but if you don't go back to that old thought, your brain will just completely kick it out, because it says, I can't process this. I'm old. I can only retain so much information. It's funny, but yet I remember my childhood address and my childhood phone number. I could not tell you, if you threatened me with an inch of my life, or even said, I'll give you $1 million if you could name the phone number that you had before this current phone number that I have right now, I couldn't tell you. I honestly could not tell you what my phone number was just 10, 12 years ago before we bought our house, because our phone number changed when we bought our house. Could not tell you, but I remember my childhood phone number, sure as day, I sure do. And I remember my childhood address as well. So, but I suppose, that kind of stuff is just ingrained in one's memory, and you know, you just kind of remember that stuff because I guess as a kid, it's so important for you to know your phone number, remember your phone number, so that you know in the event that you need, you need to call home or whatever, you've got that information. Of course, I can tell you that I'm so old, I suppose, but also sort of the benefits of growing up in a rural community. Um, when I was a kid, probably until maybe, you know, my late teens, we could dial phone numbers within town by 5-digit dialing. So I could dial the last number of the prefix, and then the four numbers of the phone number to dial someone. And I think that changed as I, like maybe my sophomore or junior or senior year in high school, so like 16, 17, 18 years old, so probably like 1982, 83, 84, 85, something like that. It did change to where we then had to dial all 7 digits. And of course now, you've pretty much got to do, 10-digit dialing for just about everything that you do, especially here, like in the big city and stuff like that. So let's see, that's pretty much got it as far as our hay is concerned here. Let me drive over closer. Maybe we've still got a row over here. Let's pull our pickup up so that we can get a little bit more power here. Oh, it's not really an official row. It's some area that I had skipped there because I guess I was probably not paying too much of attention when I came through here with the rake. So we'll grab that. Might as well. I mean, it's not enough to complete this bell. We're at 26 and some change there, so we're not gonna get the bell filled up, but hey, we'll get it off the ground anyways. All right, so we'll pick up our pickup and we will go ahead and let's see, we'll kick these, turn the baler off, and kick that bell off and pick the pickup back up because I actually hit the wrong button, and we will go ahead and fold our baler up and head this back to the main farm. So you might hear the engine sounds. I'll kind of be quiet here and let you listen to the tractor for just a moment. I think it does change sort of the engine sound, so we'll let you listen here. All right, well there you go. I think I kept you guys much longer the previous couple of episodes. I think one or two episodes here on this map, and then I know one of the episodes on Lawfolds went a little longer as well. And so I will go ahead and start wrapping things up here, just so that I don't keep you guys and gals that long. But I do appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me here on my videos, hanging out with me on my live streams, and just being friendly and being a member of our wonderful hobby, and sharing, and not only sharing the information that I'm providing to you, but also sharing back with me and everything. It's a great thing, and I've really met a lot of really awesome people, and it's been a really cool experience with my YouTube channel, and we're growing. And just I want you to remind you to all please check out my friends down below in the video comments section, or also my recommended channels. If you go to my main YouTube channel, you'll see some recommended channels there. I'd appreciate you to check out their channels as well. A lot of folks have growing channels, you know, Doughboy 2913, Farmer Klein, Icelandic Farmer. Um, um, all of these guys are trying to grow their channels, and they all provide, you know, similar content, but yet in a different way. I mean, there's no competition, and I've said this before. There's absolutely no competition, at least from my perspective. I don't feel that I'm competing with Farmer Klein or Reefy 1952 or Eustace Farmer or any of these guys. We're all doing our own thing. We're all enjoying the hobby in our own way, and really and truthfully, we're all working to try to, you know, provide information and benefit to you all, the viewer. And so we all do something similar yet different. But I would encourage you to go and check out their channels. And if you like what you see, please give them a subscription. Click the subscription button and click a like on their page, and make those guys smile too. So thank you all so much for watching from Lone Star. I would just like to say thank you all so much, and take care, and God bless you all. We'll see you back probably a new game day when we come back together. I'll pick up the hay off camera, and we'll come back in with a new game day, and hopefully that soil temperature will be up above 50 degrees. So take care, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.